Let's go Bucs. Bucs Abroad, episode 4. Captain Ben and First Mate Sheehy are back again after the 6-game homestand. 3-3 on the homestand, 1-2 to the Giants, 2-1 to the Braves. We'll start out with game 1 against the Giants. I said it, Martin Perez was going to pitch a gem, and I was wrong. Sometimes I can be wrong. He didn't pitch bad, didn't pitch good, pitched 4.1 innings before having to get pulled. O'Neal Cruz dropped that fly ball, which he should not have called it for his own, resulting in 2 runs later that weren't earned to Perez. But then O'Neal Cruz decided to go nuclear after having that error. He hit a ball 120 miles an hour, and then in the 9th inning to tie the game after an epic comeback, he hit the ball 121 miles an hour. Gonzo walked it off for us. Bay produced in that game. Bay got called up, and Bay and Gonzo got called up. The fans have been begging. We've been begging for a while. They've been producing. What a walk-off win, and we all thought season's back on after that.
There's been multiple times in this season that I've thought the season is back on. We're going to get into this more, but Bucs 3-3 at the homestand kind of leaves us at the same spot we were in before. Don't necessarily hate that, but yeah, Gonzalez and Bay, awesome bringing those guys up, seeing them do well. Obviously, young pitching still doing well. That was a game that really felt to me like, okay, the Pirates are really turning the corner here. Like, comeback victory, made a few mistakes, especially a young guy like O'Neal Cruz. You can get on him about the whole dropped pop fly thing, but you know what? He came through at the end. Even the best guys make mistakes. Exit velocity is awesome to talk about. I really don't care about it personally, but it is cool. It is cool, and it was a good win. Martin Perez, like we talked last week, he's just an inning eater guy. Unfortunately, he didn't really eat any innings there with 4.1 innings. Cannot have that in the big leagues. Kind of the Pirates' forgotten pitcher. He's worse than he is good, but he's not terrible. Good win for the Pirates. It was a fun game to watch. I thought we were down and out. Came back, had a great time finishing up that game, and it was awesome seeing a young guy get the walk-off.
I agree. It was sweet, and it was like we needed one of those wins. We haven't had a good comeback win like that in a while, and that was a 4-run comeback win at the end of the game. But then, it's like you said earlier, every win for the Buccos is minimal and every loss is huge because we turn around to the second game and our baby Messiah and our other Messiah are pitching, Jones Keller.
Yeah,
and
Jared Jones. Sorry, big brain, don't mean to cut you off here. Jared Jones, when they pulled him, they were up 5-3. He gave up 2 runs in the 6th inning. He had already thrown a lot of pitches, but your bullpen needs to come in and just shut down for the last 3 innings. That's what your bullpen's leaned on to do. That's why the bullpen, they make good money. Unfortunately, they blew another win, something that should have been a win for Jared Jones. And,
well, let me tell you this. The bullpen blew it because the bullpen was depleted because we had Fatso still on the roster. There's absolutely no reason for him to be on the roster. Our bullpen was already depleted, and it showed that game. It showed. Let me just say this. BR hit that grand slam, and then Nick Gonzalez later got on an infield and single, and then we didn't get a base runner the rest of the game. So we can't you can't have that. Like, yes, the bullpen should not have blown that game, but we can't go without a base runner for 5 innings.
No, and unfortunately that's been kind of the Pirates' kryptonite all season. Things got a little off the rails last week when we started bringing up Fatso Teles, so I'll save my thoughts for later on him. But, again, it's nice seeing the Pirates have a young arm. It sucks that him and Skeens are both going to have a ton of wins blown for him by this bullpen unless they really figure something out. I mean, there's been multiple times this year. I think I saw it. Do not quote me on this. I want to say the Pirates have lost 14 games this year with a lead once the starters pulled. That's unacceptable. Yeah. I mean,
I think you're
losing 14, 2 or 3.
It's like 14 or 15 of 28 losses that are blown lead losses. It's something like that,
is
which is absolutely
ton.
ridiculous.
That's a ton of wins. And in a division that's not that great, even if you got an extra 8 wins, you're sitting there in first place, or at least tied for first in the NL Central. We'll get into some of my thoughts later once we finish up the rest of these games on this lineup. But once again, Jared Jones, everything he's made up to be, pitched a good 6 innings. That's what you really are going to get out of a starter. As he gets older, you might see him go a little bit deeper. But I have no complaints on the Jared Jones front here. Feel bad for the guy on losing to games like this. His record just does not reflect how good he's been this year.
No, absolutely not. But let's get into the other no decision quality start of the homestand. Paul Skeens obviously wasn't the 11 strikeout, 7 straight strikeout performance, but he pitched 6 solid innings. And then Joey Bart hit a grand slam. I think it was, and then I can't remember what exactly the stat was, but it was like the first time since like 2004 or something like that. And then before that, it was like 1930 that a team hit back-to-back grand slams and lost both of those games. It's just abysmal. And the bullpen just came in there and I don't know what happened. It was a tie game. It was going into extras, and then it was just balloon effect, and they just scored 4 runs in the top of the 10th, and it was over.
This bullpen, like I said, we're going to be talking about it most of the show. Tough outing for the only guy that I trust coming out of the bullpen, and this might sound crazy, big brain, for whatever reason, I just trust him, Hunter Stratton. I think he's been pretty consistent.
Well, Hunter Stratton got shelled this game.
He got shelled this game, but
again, he's left out to dry because we had Fatso go 0 for 4 and look at 2 strikes that were right down the freaking middle.
I know. I do not want to get off the rails, but I'm this close. I'm this close to doing it, but we got off the rails last show, and we're working on this. Yeah. It's going to be a clean product, but yeah, I just don't get it with this bullpen. Again, no decision goes to Skeens. He did pitch. I mean, not all your games in the big leagues are you going to go out there and blow people away, but the Buccos are up big when they pull them every single game. It's crazy. Teams are just intimidated by an arm like that. Yeah, they might get hits. I really don't care if the guy gives up 20 hits. If he gives up 1 run, he can give up 40 hits. I don't care. He's getting these guys out. He forced a lot of double plays, which is hard to do, which means he's got some good control. Once again, no decision goes to Skeens. Jared Jones has got to be jealous of all these no decisions with all the losses that it's cost him. So the Buccos in general, like I said, they had these grand slams. This is great, but your offense can't totally shut down after a grand slam.
No.
I mean, it's wild to me. It's a weird team. And like I said, going 3-3 on this homestand, even if you snagged 1 off the Giants, you got a winning record out of this homestand. I mean, we're going to move right along past this game into the Braves. That's what the Buccos are capable of doing. That's what the Buccos are capable of doing. An 11-5 win against the Atlanta Braves that are considered a contender. Yeah, they haven't been playing as well, but they're a contender every year.
Absolutely.
And typically the Pirates don't play the Braves well. Bailey Falter, talked about him on this show, episode 1. I've changed my tone since. Apologized to him last podcast we put out. But Bailey Falter was absolute nails this game. And you know what the big factor was in this game, Ben?
What's that?
I'm pretty sure Falter went 7 innings. That bullpen did not have to pitch much, buddy. And when they came in, that's when they started scoring runs too. But the Pirates, that was just a fun night to watch the Bucs. Offense was on fire. Pitching was the lights out. I don't think he gave up a run until the 6th inning. I'd have to look at the stat line. He was either the 6th or the 7th. By then, he was at 95, 96 pitches against a hot lineup like the Braves. The Braves have some straight killers on offense.
Falter, like you said, he pitched 7 and a third innings, 6 hits, 3 earned, and I think those 3 earned came like late in the 6th inning or right at the early 7th inning. So he's been nails when he's been out there. Bailey Falter has been the 2nd most consistent pitcher, and I'll get to him. I'll get to that after this. But Bailey Falter has been awesome, and he's not a free agent till 2029. So
I do.
we can either keep him for a while and have him be that lefty ace that we need, or who knows? He's rising his price each and every day. And if we're out of it by the deadline, why not?
I do like how Shelton split uh, Falter and Perez up,
Have to.
mixing him in
Have
as the
to.
third guy. I do like that. Two lefties back to back in a series, especially against a team like the Braves, it's tough because
But
teams catch on to lefties. But
the
like I
offense
said, it
was
was
pissed from the Giants after getting shut down after two grand slams, and it showed. They came out and they were firing. Yeah, we let up a couple runs at the end of the game, but the game was out of hand at that point. If the Pirates somehow lost an 11-2 or 11-1, whatever it was, lead, I would be done with the team. Gonzo continues to produce. I think he put up like 3 RBIs, I believe. And you know what? You your guy, Jared Triola.
four
I
RBIs.
gotta give him his flowers. He's fourth on the team in RBIs. He he doesn't have the big. He has like a little over 200 batting average, which isn't great. His glove is above average, which is great, but he produces. He comes up
He's a
with good
clutch
hits.
batter. I'd love to see his batting percentage with runnings and scoring position.
That would be interesting to see. But let me tell you this: the sun rising in the east, setting in the west, and Mitch Keller pitching 6 innings pitched. Those are just some things that have been consistent over time. Now, Mitch Keller, 4 straight games, 6 innings pitched. He has been Mr. Consistent. He has been just when Mitch Keller's been out there the last at least 4 starts, but even longer than that. You know what we're getting out of him. We're going to get at least 6 innings pitched. We're going to let up maybe 2-3 runs at most, and we're going to have a great chance to win. Mitch Keller has been a little shaky start, but he has been nails since.
Yep, I totally agree with you. I called him out. He probably heard me calling him out beginning of the year. It's probably why he started to focus. But I mean, I wouldn't put that past as the main reason why he's been Mr. Consistent. But he's also just he's just a great third arm on the team. He's a young guy. Pirates have him locked up. He's just I don't know what to say other than he's just consistently good. And for
That's just
Steams
he's
and
Mr.
Jones to be
Consistent.
pitching in front of him, and I think it's a good guy to see, look up to, and that's the Pirates' big money guy right now. But he's done well. I have no complaints on the Mitch Keller front as of right now. I wanted him to walk the plank earlier this season. I've since rescinded that rhetoric, and I'm looking forward to seeing him pitch next.
Well, let me say this before we move on to the last game that we got. Daniel Vogelbach for Colin Holderman is one of the greatest trades ever. Colin Holderman is awesome. Awesome.
He is a cool guy.
He
And he's
is.
good. I mean, that's a sweet setup name for setup
Holderman?
name,
Are you kidding me?
It's a good one. I mean, I would have liked to have Vogelbach right now instead of Fatso Telej, but I will take Holderman.
That's neither here nor there. But
Neither here
let's
nor
get into
there.
the last game. We had Perez going out there again. He gets injured early on in the game. Joey Bart goes down early in the game too. Chris Sale was nice.
Chris Sale's been real good all year.
Chris Sale is nice, and when our starting pitcher goes out early like that, our starting catcher goes out early, it's tough to win those games. And there was a couple chances that we maybe could have had a chance. It was 4-1. We had a guy on first and second, couldn't put any past Sale, but they just kind of exploded. And against the Braves, that's one of those games were going to happen. Glad we won the series, which was huge. It was a good win of the series, but it's like I said, Chris Sale's nice. I really I have nothing else to say besides Chapman does suck because it was like 4-1 in the 7th or 8th inning, and he came in and let up like 3 runs. 1 year, 10 mil. Thanks, Ben.
Yeah, that's tough. Right hand up. I got stuff to do. It's Memorial Day weekend. I was driving all day. Missed this ball game. Seems like a good one to miss. Didn't hear anything good about it. I know Chris Sale's a dog, and Chapman chapped it up. But that gets into my little bit of the analyzing the roster here with Ben Sherrington's moves. Signs Chapman to a big deal. Paying the guy $10 million is crazy. You got a guy like here's the thing. I'm fine with Sherrington spending that type of money. If it's going to really help the team on the field, get a bat for $10 million. You don't need to shell out $10 million for a washed up pitcher that can barely make it in the strike zone. When he's on, he's on. But when he's off and more consistent he's pitched, he's been off. It's just tough to justify that salary. You got guys like you got Rowdy Tellez, Fatso, still playing first base, but you send a guy like Sawinski down. Now Sawinski's struggling, but Sawinski's going to be around. Fatso's gone after this year. You could cut him, you could waive him, eat $3.2 million, and see you later. No one cares. A guy like Sawinski, they sat him in all these games at the beginning of the year against lefties. And yeah, he sucked. Let's be real. He sucked. But he should not be down in AAA. A guy like that plays center field, he's been up. He's going to turn it around. Like, at least he's gotten home runs and gotten on base. Fatso does nothing out there. It's crazy. I would rather have a guy that's a homegrown talent. Look at G1 Bay and Nick Gonzalez. Both came up. Some of the hottest bats we got. Young energy. G1 Bay, awesome interview last night. Dropping
the Jolly Roger, baby.
I mean,
that was awesome.
That's the type of energy that the Pirates need to keep bringing up. Like Michael A. Taylor, not a bad athlete for center field, but for $4 million, what's he really giving you? Play Bay out in center field. Play Sawinski. We don't need to spend $4 million on Michael A. Taylor. You want to spend $4 million? Here's the thing. You signed Tellez for 3.2, Michael A. Taylor for 4. Like, if you just re-sign Carlos Santana, I'm sorry, not Carlos Santana. What? Thinking of smooth air.
Hey, I would have. Carlos Santana would have been great.
Yeah, you just re-sign Santana, and you don't have these problems. You just don't. Like, as stupid as a signing that could be, like, everyone would look at the Pirates like, oh, they're not changing much. He was consistent last year. He was good. He had power. People liked him. Tellez,
he liked being a bucko too.
He's got the boo-boo face out there. He's a crybaby. You can tell he doesn't want to be here. Just get rid of him. I mean, what is the big deal with getting rid of a guy like that? Like, who cares? You got a guy like Henry Davis, a 1 of 1, round 1, pick 1, struggled when he was up here. Now, I like Yasmani Grandal. I think he's done a good job. But he should not be taking starts away from Henry Davis.
No, and with Joey Bart going down today and Henry Davis kind of raking in AAA, we're going to see Henry Davis sooner.
We're going to see him again. It's frustrating as hell to watch this. I mean, Henry Davis goes down, looks like he fixed his swing overnight when he's down there. Why is that hitting coach in AAA and not with the big league club? It makes no sense. Like, this staff is bad. I mean, the managerial staff in general has blown so many games for the Pirates. Pulling starting pitchers early. Having a bad lineup out there when they have options. Like, I get that it's not on Shelton. It's not all on him. But he's the manager of this team. He's got to put his best lineup out there and just stop worrying about hurting Rowdy Tellez's feelings. No one's going to remember Rowdy Tellez in 2 years from now. Everyone's going to be like, oh, yeah, he sucked. But nobody cares. Like, why you run him out there? It's not his leadership ability. Like, I don't know. This team, the Indianapolis Indians got some bats down there. Some young guys. All those young guys go out. They show them in the dugout. They're having a great time. They got brought up along with Skeens. They're boys with Skeens. Jones is hanging out. I mean, you got to bring this young team up. Let them sit there and listen to guys like McCutchen, who I'm glad's turned it around. Pittsburgh legend, Andrew McCutchen. Pirate all-timer. Glad he's turned it around a little bit. But, he's more of a circus act than he is a leadoff batter. But, you got to have these young guys come up and learn from a guy like that while you still have.
Well, I agreed with almost everything you said, definitely until the last moment. McCutchen has been everything and more in that leadoff position. Home runs, getting on base, no matter what. That's where he lives this season, at least. He's the heart and soul of this team, and he's going to live there. But it's just tough. Like I said, I think it's selfish. I think it's like embarrassment from Ben Cherington that he shelled out this money that he just wouldn't give up. It's hurting feelings. It's fucking stupid. That's what it is. But it's the same circus every week. After those 2 games in the Giants, I was done. I boycotted the game up until the 6th inning against the Braves when we were up 11-0. It took 6 innings for me to give up my boycott, because that's how much I love this team and I want them to do well. And this team has the make of it to do well. And listen, we're only 4 games under 500. And to end May and to start June, these next we have 5 games coming up. We have 2 at the Tigers with Jones and Skeens pitching. And then we have 3 at the Blue Jays, who are going to go Falter, Keller, and then we'll see about Perez, but we could see Quinn Priester back up, which
I'm all right with seeing Priester.
Completely fine with that. So, we have 5.
Like Toronto that's in a similar spot as the Pirates are in, like kind of right around the corner, but they just can't seem to get over that hump. But, then you got to go play the Dodgers and the Twins, and so you got to rack up these wins.
That's for episode 5 to discuss.
Yeah.
But listen,
you got to get these wins while you can.
I'll end with this. Fatso needs DFA during the off day tomorrow. Brian Reynolds.
We got to talk about him next week.
If we have to talk about him one more week, I don't know what I'm gonna do, but I'm gonna the whole episode's gonna be talking about Fatso and his stats and how bad he is. If we have to talk about him next week. So he needs DFA'd during the off day. I saw Brian Reynolds is trying out at first base, which is fine because he's not a very good outfielder. He's okay, but if he could play first base, then that's great. We have a great bat, and we solve our first baseman problem. But at this point, bring up Jake Lamb. Who cares? He can't be worse than this. Why not?
I'm with you. Going to be an interesting week, and I'm excited to get back on the horn with you, big brain.
We got 5 games coming up on this road stand. 4 games under 500, and these 5 games are very, very, very winnable. Let's hope we get 5 in a row here. Let's go Bucs. Let's hope the next time we're talking to you, Fatso Tellez is not on the roster, and we are above 500 for the first time in over a month. Take it easy. Let's go Bucs.